What's going on, Gifted Hands family? It is Elijah here, bringing you another lesson. And today we're going to be breaking down how to play piano by ear. Really, I'm going to give you 4 ways that you can improve your by ear playing, all right? Your ability to play and pick up things by ear. All right, so the first thing that you want to do to be able to play by ear, to be able to listen to songs or listen to other people play, and to be able to pick up what they're doing, to be able to transcribe, all that good stuff, is you want to work on single note recognition and melody recognition. So just meaning that if someone plays a melody line, right, or you hear a melody line in a song, let's say we hear that. Da 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 da, right? Single note recognition just says that we can take each particular note, each individual note, and figure out what it is. How do we do that? I think one of the best ways to do it is when you start hearing melody lines, train yourself to sing and repeat the melody lines that you're hearing. So let's just act like we can't see and hear what's going on the screen. And that first melody line or that first note was da, right? Or da. So you try to hum that, da, or sing it, da, and then we'll just start. It really doesn't matter where you start at, but da, nope, that's not it, right? So we'll start on this note. Da. I can tell that the note that we're trying to get to is higher, so I'm gonna go up chromatically. Don't skip around. Find it's best when you're first training your ear to just move up the piano chromatically until you find the note that you're looking for. So that way you're not jumping up and down and up and down and all the way around and getting confused and forgetting about which notes you've tried, which notes you haven't, okay? So, there it is. We found that first note is C. All right, so that would be single note recognition, and you just go note by note. And then when you've compiled a bunch of notes together, what we get is a melody line, right? And so from there, melody line recognition just means you can start singing multiple notes at a time and picking them out. Da da ba da da, da 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 ba da, da 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 da. Okay, so single note and melody recognition is going to help you to be able to hear melody lines. It's going to be able to help you kind of hear voice leadings as well. And what I mean voice leadings is just like if you hear a chord progression being played, in order to be able to pick out the voicings that are being used, one good tool is to listen to the voice leadings. Just meaning what is the top note essentially that's going on with those chords, and like what is the melody that's created from the chords being played. So what I just played was just a da, da, da. So if I'm listening to the chord, the first 2 things that I'm probably gonna listen to try to pick this up is the bass note, but also the melody that's kind of being created from the voice leading. So in this situation, it was da, 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 from that chord progression, which is just a 2, 5, 1, right? In the key of C major. So it's really simple after we find that in the bass note, which we're da, da, da. Now all we have to do is fill in the middle part, okay? So melody recognition also helps you finding chord progressions when it comes to like listening to and hearing the voice leadings. All right, the next thing that you want to do when you want to improve your ear and your ability to play by hearing is going to be to increase your scale vocabulary. So if you increase your scale vocabulary, just meaning you learn more scales, you understand modes, scales, majors, minors, all the different options, you're going to be able to more easily recognize lines, licks, runs, riffs, even melody lines that come into songs, right? That happen in songs. So let's say we are listening to a song and we hear the musicians play this. Right, so all right, so let's say we know the song is in C major, right? We're able to recognize melody lines. So maybe we hear like some type of line walking down. Da, 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 da. Maybe we think it's we're hearing something close to it, but it's not exactly what we're hearing in the song, right? And you're trying to play the C major scale over this lick. Playing something like that, right? It's almost it, but it's not exactly it. When you have more scales to pull from, more knowledge of scales, what you can start doing also is looking at the chords that are being played. Maybe you're not able to pick up the melody line first. So maybe instead of listening to the melody line first, you look at the chords. And in this situation, maybe you can pull out that, oh, okay, they're playing like a 5 minor to a 1 to a 4. So 5, 1, 4 is what was being played, right? If you can hear that, then if you have an understanding of chords and scale relationships, just scales, right? Then you can say, all right, 5, 1, 4. What will work over that? Technically, that's in like F major, right? That's like an F major progression, even though we're in the key of C. That means maybe they could be playing the F major scale, right? So, so we got that. That's starting to make more sense. Why? Because if we're thinking in terms of F major, we have a B flat instead of a B natural, which matches up with the chord progression. There's a B flat here on this 5 minor chord. There's a B flat on this dominant chord, and then there's no B flat on the last chord. But you could think of it in terms of F major, or maybe you're thinking like modes. So you're thinking C mixolydian, right? Which is technically the same. It's the same thing as F major. It's an F major scale starting on C, okay? Same key signature as F major. So, and if we're using that scale, well, I keep adding some notes. So da 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 da, right? That would give us the melody line. It would get us more closely to playing the melody line and being able to hear and pick out the melody line that we were given, okay? So learn scales, learn as many scales as possible, learn all your major scales, learn all your minor scales, learn the modes of your scales, all right? Learn your pentatonics, learn your altered scales, half diminished, half whole, whole half, all that good stuff, whole tone scales. When it comes to understanding scales and understanding the relationship between chords and scales, it's so useful in every single aspect of your playing and compositions and production that you can never get enough when it comes to scales. All right, let's jump into the next one. All right, the next thing that you want to do to be able to improve your ear, your ability to play by ear, is increase your chord vocabulary, right? So when I say chord vocabulary, I literally just mean learn as many chords as possible, all right? So we all know we got our basic major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th, half diminished 7th, fully diminished 7th. That's a good base, as well as your triads, major, minor, diminished, augmented, all those good things, those triads. So start there with your triads and your 7ths, but then from there, you want to learn and be able to understand extensions, right? Extensions for major chords, extensions for minor chords, extensions for half diminished chords, right? We got extensions for dominant chords. Even diminished chords, fully diminished chords, you can add extensions. All right, so you want to learn your extensions for all of your 7th chords. And then from there, we got like altered chords. You want to learn altered chords. Let's see. Or even there's so many different chords. 2, 5, 1. This is like a major 7th with a sharp 5. Or we got 2, 5. Learn all of the chords that there are to learn. There's so many different types of chords. Like I said, just start with your 7ths or triads and 7ths, and then branch off from there, going into extensions, into alterations. Because there's so many different ways to even play those basic 7th chords. Like you got diminished 7th, but then you got like a diminished major 7th. Diminished with the major 7th, right? We said we had diminished with extensions with the 9th and 11th. Even same thing with minor. Minor, you got minor 7, you got minor major 7, you got minor 6, there's different options there. And then even with major chords, you got like regular major 7th, you got like a major 7th, altered major 7th with a sharp 5, you got like an extended major 7th with a sharp 11. There's so many different types of chords, and when you understand chords and how they're built, then it's easier when you hear chords in the context of a song. You'll be able to pick them out much quicker and be like, oh yeah, I know that. That's basically like maybe we're starting with the major chord. So it's like you hear the major quality, and then from there you're like, okay, you just have to fill in the extra notes or figure out what order the notes are played in. But if you understand chord qualities and you understand different types of chords, you've already won half the battle, okay? Last thing you want to do to be able to improve your ear is going to be to build your progression vocabulary. So just learning patterns and progressions on the piano specific to your genre. So for gospel musicians, there's common gospel progressions that you should learn, right? One of them is like, actually I'm gonna play in D flat. Like walk-ups are really common in gospel. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Like those walk-ups, diatonic walk-ups are really common. And walk downs, doing the same thing, a diatonic, walking down your scale, but just going down. That's a really common progression. Another common progression. So, it's like dominant walk. Basically taking a dominant chord and walking up that dominant chord. 1, 2, 3, and resolving. Walk it up. Walk it up. Walk it up. Okay, so that's really common. We got 2, 5, 1s. 2, 5, 1s are really common in gospel. We got major 2, 5, 1s. So here we go. Based off of D flat, here's a major 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, and a minor 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1. All right. Half diminished 2, altered 5 to a minor 1. So we got those. Major and minor 2, 5, 1s are really common. And a 2, 5, 1 really is like the same thing as a 7, 3, 6. Right? 7, 3, 6 is really common. There's a bunch of different progressions and patterns that you want to learn specific to the genre that you play, and then just get comfortable, like study other genres as well and get comfortable with as many progressions as you can. Once again, this helps your playing overall. It builds your muscle memory to when you're learning songs, you're just able to instantly play songs without having to really practice and shed it because you've already played those patterns. You've already played those shapes and those movements, right? But then it also helps your ear because when you hear things in a song, most songs I can already tell when somebody does, I'm like automatically, oh yeah, that's a 5-1-4. That's a 5-1-4, like a 2-5 pass. 2-5 pass to the 4. Or maybe I'll hear, hear something like this. So like that. most of the time I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah. I can tell that's like a minor 2-5 pass. 3, now technically, if I'm in D flat, that's like a 3-6, but I'm thinking 2-5 to get to E flat, right? So when you know progressions, when you're familiar with all these different types of progressions, you can easily recognize them in songs. When you're building these skills, essentially you get to a point where you know so much when it comes to theory and vocabulary that you're just putting the puzzle piece together and you're trying to just recognize what's going on in the music instead of actually trying to figure out note for note. Because the quickest way to improve your ear is to really, to just be able to pinpoint what's going on instead of having to sit down and like transcribe and being like, man, I don't know what the heck they're doing. And I gotta go section by section, note for note to just put it all together without any understanding. I feel like that's a really hard way to do it. Hey, some people can do it. For me, I think the best way is to understand the music, like what's going on musically, and then put it all together from that understanding, right? Just be able to pinpoint, oh, that's this scale, that's this chord, that's this progression, blase, blase, and then put it all together. All right, so I hope you got something from this lesson. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any recommendations, you got any ideas on what you want to see next, drop a comment in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. All right, have a blessed day.